to be fair, I don't think your music is really like more or less catered to the average South African listener.
I mean, this is the first drop we've ever dropped on DSPs.
You niggas came through with the video of Atletico Gama, and a lot of people, when I posted it on my private socials, be it WhatsApp for example, a lot of the oaks were going crazy over that bar you bet with 6K parlay.
Yeah, I think even without that 6K for shout out to Betway, without that 6K from Betway, I'm not in Jersey.
Yo, what's up? This is your boy Postman, and you're tuned in to Post in a Diary Room. And this is a different platform, different concept rather. Standing right next to me is, of course,
Baba Kushi.
and right here.
It's Kijana Damu.
So yeah, the homies recently dropped a new project. It's titled Clothes We Had to Pray Over. And we're just gonna have a conversation related to that project. And I'm just gonna move over to my right, and Kushi is just gonna give us some insights about the project. What can you tell me about the project basically?
Well, Clothes We Had to Pray Over is inspired by just thrift culture. I think a lot of South Africans can relate to that aspect of it. And then we touched on some brands that we like, that South Africans resonate with, brands that our fathers, our uncles used to rock. Basically, that's like the concept of it, just briefly.
Yeah, Kijama, just on that note of the thrift, the clothing, whose idea was it to have like those titles, like maybe like for example Boys of Soweto and what is it called? Strachen and Men Maybach,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Nah, I get you. I mean, but it was just a thing of like, we didn't really like plan it that much, you know? Everything was just genuine, dog, you know? Like, we both came up with ideas, that contributed a lot into just, you know, giving the people the final product, you know what I'm saying? But I think, yeah, man, it's just a matter of like the connection that I have with my brother. We just always do some good stuff, you know what I'm saying? So
Now essentially how does the project now come into fruition? Because you're a friend of Scum Babies. I stand to be corrected if you are a part of Scum
part
Babies.
of
Yeah,
Scum Babies
you're a part
Collective.
of Scum Babies.
Shout
But
out to
then
Scum Babies.
shout out. But how does that contribute or like collaboration then come into fruition in a sense between you and Baba Kush?
We're part of the same collective. So I mean, and like, usually me and my brother, we closer. So like whenever he's in Jersey, we get to link up. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I think that's it, dog.
So how was it like working with Kijana, like in like in essence?
That's always like effortless, man. Cause like the first time we linked up with the homie, it was a live performance. We hadn't like met each other ever. The first time we linked up, I had to jump on stage with him, and like from that point, she was just always organic. So it made the working experience easier. We like-minded. We mess with the same sonics. We would come from the same area. So yeah.
So then, like on the notes of the Sonics, I mean, I came across your music on SoundCloud at some point. I think it was in 2023, if not maybe this year, because I then had to make a video about you and all these things. So, how do you then balance the duality between you guys rapping on the project? Because there's moments where you're rapping a lot, and there's also moments where he's also rapping too much. So, how did you then balance the two, where you like you're heavily involved and he's not really heavily involved?
I think what gave us that sort of experience is working with Scum Babies, like first and foremost, because there's a tape that dropped this year, Fly Tapes 2. So in an environment like that, it's like you have to do what serves the record, right? So you listen back to the record. I'm probably crashing. The homie just lays the verse. I wake up. I'm like, okay, this doesn't need me to do too much in terms of acrobatics. Maybe I should just add like a bridge on it. So that's how the work really comes together.
And then to you, my dog Kijana, just want to ask you a question.
Yeah, man.
What's your favorite joint on the record, or what do you think was your favorite performance on the record?
Hey, bro, that's a trick question. Yo, cause, hey,
Because I'm fucking with the last one.
Strachen and maybe.
Ah, that's my jam. The sample right there. Shit.
Shout out, bro. Ish, but it's hard to pick, man. You know, Ish, it's really hard to pick, man. But hey, bro, like I think the whole thing is just amazing, bro. You know what I'm saying? But a joint I'd pick, I think. Let me see. Hey, man, it's a really trick question. It's a really trick question, man.
Hold that thought. I'll just ask Kushi this one.
I mean, yeah, it is. It is kind of difficult because when we go into the project, we looking at it because we both like album artists, right? So and you're a consumer of albums.
Yeah.
So we go into the project thinking track one must serve track two, and track two must serve track three, just for that like cohesive listening experience. So for me, it really depends on the day. Like today, we just got off the whip. We were performing for the Uber driver, really.
We heard that.
You know. So today, because we just did that, Scottish Pringle is the record today. Tomorrow, someone might hit us up. Scottish Pringle.
Yeah.
Scottish Pringle is the record. You know, the driver had to like pause for us and like watch the whole performance before he dipped. He was just captivated by that. But so for today, I'd say Scottish Pringle because there's a moment like that today. Yesterday, homies was going crazy over high tax and Matatiel. You know, so it really depends on the day.
So then, like for me, what's actually struck my attention with this whole project, besides the rap, was obviously like that whole clothing concept, and to then match it with maybe like locations and all these things. How does that like come into being a thing? Because I think it was a well thought through idea, because like I said to you off camera, where I said to you, you name a joint maybe like Boys of Soweto, but even in your verses you mention something related to like that particular location. So how does that actually come into life?
Yeah, man. I think it's cause, yo, bruv, of like what we've experienced. You know, I mean, the things we see, the environment. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what just drives the whole like context or concept of the project, you know, as well as like thrift culture as well, you know. I mean, Soweto is known for a lot of good things. So, I mean, also Boys of Soweto are really, you know, pushing their thing and doing it, you know, on the like top tier. So it's just like we're speaking from a perspective of inspiration, you know what I'm saying? And like my homie says, um, like living in the same street with Zola. That was true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, like we used to see Zola every time, dog.
Zola
We
said,
walking out.
yeah.
You know, he lives like 2 houses away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I mean, it's just things that are real, bro. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know, my homie can add on to that, bro. I think I'd go the whole day just explaining.
Now before I move right back to Kushi, I just want to ask you in particular, because on on several occasions, right? I've seen you like on your Mac homie shit where you like have a bandana or itugu for the sake of the South African audience.
Yeah, man.
Where ufake itugu emlomeni.
Yeah,
And
man.
so like where does that actually come from, and can it be actually be attributed to Mac homie, for example?
I mean, we listen to Mac Homie. You know, he's a huge inspiration. You know, like, he's really doing what we trying to do. You get what I'm saying? So, shouts to Mac Homie, man. Like, yo, he really does a lot with just influencing a lot of things that the homies do. You know, also just other peers as well. You know, that's doing it with him that we look up to. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the steez, man. Fly stay, fly shit all the time. I don't know, man. Yeah, but you know,
Because actually, I actually like the fact that make mention of some clothing item, because I spoke of itugu to him, and now to you, I'm probably gonna speak of the beret, like a beret. Like, what does that actually bring to life in terms of Baba Kushi, and like what comes to mind when you wear that beret? Like, where does that influence actually come from, in a sense? Because I mean, for me, Iparete is attributed to a lot of these freedom fighters, particularly EFF, for example, and ANC, for example. Like, for you as an artist, what does it represent, that clothing item specifically?
I think just like putting on that item for me represents like some sort of militancy. You know, whenever I put it on, like, because it's like you explaining all these guys that rock the beret in the South African context, like even the Black Panther guys were doing it in the U.S. So for me, it represents me sort of being. It feels like putting on a cape, me being a voice for just my people, really. Because I think the context of the music in most cases, as much as we can have fun with it and just enjoy ourselves, conceptually it's really rooted in the everyday South African experience, you know.
So I actually want to ask a deep question in a sense. It's not really deep, but it's mainly for you, right? So I just want to ask, because you've dropped music on SoundCloud and you make music that you make. Because to be fair, I don't think your music is really like more or less catered to the average South African listener, and that's something you guys can actually make mention of as well. You guys are aware of that fact, but how you guys rap is not really, maybe infectious towards the listener of an average South African listener, but how you guys actually talk about the things that you talk about are really purely South African, if you understand. So how do you then like bring that element to life? Because your influence is more or less American, but the music and the raps that you make are like purely South African. For example, there's a record that you dropped on SoundCloud, or a project rather. I think it's the Agnes project, Child of Agnes, that was related to your granny, right? If I'm not mistaken. And there's a joint about Izola Party and all these other South African references. So even in this particular project,
Yeah, so for me, like, just as a consumer of art, I'm a person that really likes diving deep into context and what whether an author is writing a book, what the message really was. I'm not the type to really get caught up in the packaging of the thing, you know. That's why I resonate with like a Stogie T. As much as the packaging is what it is, he's like one of the greatest African writers we've ever had, because the story is still very pretty much African, right? So when I write, as much as the influence can be like an MF Doom and L Sweatshirt, but it's also a Zola 7, it's also a Tande Somazwa, that's the music we grew up listening to, that's the music that was impacting us, telling stories about like black South Africans and just the South African experience. So that's how I approach the music. It's like there's so many references in South African culture that for me to package it American and then still rap it like I'm in New York, it's like I'm missing out on so much culture that we have here in the country.
so yeah, my dog Kijana, yeah, he has a lot of airtime. He has a lot of airtime. But I just want to ask you like about the whole collector's edition, because I'm also a recipient of that edition where I did purchase, and I did buy the whole collector's edition and all these things. So how does that idea come into play? Because also I did make it clear to you that I feel as though you are like a bit influenced by the Mac Homie, and I did watch an interview where he was talking to Complex about how he sells the music, and this is that part of this is part of that play as well, and you guys more or less replicated that. So how important was for you guys to even do that in a South African context?
Yeah, man. Basically, collector's edition is for people that want to support us directly. The people that want to, directly have like, you know, well, further support towards what we're doing.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, this the first drop we've ever dropped on DSPs.
Yeah,
You get what I'm
importantly,
saying?
importantly.
You get what I'm saying? So we've forever been like tapped into like
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, how to monetize the art and how to reach more people that can directly support. And we've seen that with the clothes we had to pray over. And shout out to everybody that's been very supportive and just, making sure that they're reaching out to us to buy the stuff, like yourself as well, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just a way for us to, you know, make it more of an experience, for the collectors, the people that are directly reaching out to us to put money behind this. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I feel, man.
So yeah, Kushi, give me your thoughts on that as well.
Well, like like we've had the conversation about getting stuff on DSPs even with the first drop, right? And for me, it really is like a power move, obviously inspired by the guys that side Rock Marcy, um, how Makami does it, just the pricing and everything, the direct to consumer approach. So it's a statement more than anything. Like it's a statement also to the consumer that the DSPs are not really designed for the artist, right? It's designed for the convenience of the consumer to pay $60 and then listen to anything he's trying to listen to, while you as an artist are making like 0.0004 streams cents, So it's like,
You also gotta eat.
yeah, support like the artists that you mess with directly, but obviously we also offered it to the consumers on the DSP. So for anyone who's trying to get like a more intimate experience with the project, because we have a lot in the package, just rollout material, videos, it's for those people, you know.
So speaking of the rollout material, you niggas came through with the video of Atletico da Gama, and a lot of people, when I posted it on my private socials, be it WhatsApp for example, a lot of the oaks were going crazy over that bar you bet with 6K parlay, you understand? Yeah, take us through there.
Hlanganisa inkonzo ngidlule Montrose, dead broke, left home with 6K from a 12-leg parlay on Betway. Avoided counting losses, shit was rigged at the call center office.
True story. How that happened is just basically, I think, even without that 6K for shout out to Betway, without that 6K from Betway, I'm not in Jersey, you know. So I hit a parlay on Betway. I moved to Jersey. I locked in with my homie Kijana Damu, and then we made the project. That's how, you know. If you listen to the music, I'm a football guy. So Betway is not too far fetched, right? Yeah. So that's how that happened.
Yeah, my dog. So, like, before we wrap it up, just talk to your people. What's 2025 looking like for you? What's post rollout for this kind of project looking like for you guys?
Okay. Well, for 2025, we just looking to be outside.
Yeah.
We're looking to collaborate. With like-minded people that are doing something similar to what we do. Especially just to branch out to, as well as like just sponsors, and brands as well. Yeah, man. So I feel like we just want to be outside, man. Either it be performing, TV, radio. We just trying to be outside, and I think my boy can explain, more about the post rollout and every other thing, Doug.
Yeah, Kushi, my dog, just wrap it up for us.
Yeah, I think Collector's Edition is part of post rollout for us. This conversation is part of post rollout for us, and we really appreciate like even the conversation happening, because I think it progresses the conversation, of or the context we were trying to push in terms of the project. So this, I think, is what 2025 looks for us, like being more outside, having these conversations and pushing the product to the people, unraveling more on what we were trying to do with that body of work.
Yeah, you heard it, guys. Post in the diary, please kindly like, share, subscribe, comment. Do whatever is necessary to engage with the content. Support the guys directly, man. Do whatever you can. Post in the diary, out.